Hello and welcome to Fitness Protocols with your boy Brando. This episode is all about the best exercises with dumbbells for building massive, eye-popping shoulders, also known as 3D delts. It's come to my attention per some feedback. There's a yearning for more knowledge and methods via dumbbell work. Moving forward will be a collection of episodes I'm titling the Dumbbell Files. The Dumbbell Files will be a series of episodes designed for specific muscle targeting. And later I'll be doing a compilation, creating specific routines tailored with only dumbbells that can easily be completed at home. I've been in the field of health, fitness, and nutrition for over 15 years. My burning desire is to share knowledge, experience, and methods to living a sober, productive, and meaningful life via bodybuilding, powerlifting, and macronutrition enrichment. As you know, the power of the dumbbell lies in its versatility. Some of us find time to hit the gym, some of us prefer to work out at home, some, like myself, do a little bit of both, and some do what they can with what they have. I've been there. And you never know when the next round of COVID version 2 will be released. Will spread. That COVID is so tricky. Now, what defines the 3D deltoid look is specific muscle targeting exercises that build each section of the shoulder, the front delt, the side delt, and the rear delt, and the trapezius, creating an imposing Superman, or dare I say, Super Saiyan appearance. Note all these dumbbell exercises can be performed seated or standing. Each position has its own benefits and advantages. Many of my demonstrations are performed seated, but don't be afraid to experiment. Also, I'll give reference to a few techniques for gaining size, strength, and breaking plateaus, and how they apply. And with no further ado, let's dive into the training in which Super Saiyans are forged. First up, dumbbell shoulder press. This is a power movement, also known as a compound movement, because while it primarily targets the front deltoid, it also targets the side, rear, and trapezius as well, all in one exercise for stabilization. This is a good time to incorporate explosive reps, targeting the trapeze at the moment of the concentric phase, meaning when the load is being pressed up at the peak of the exercise and the deltoids are under constant tension for the full range of the repetition. Explosive/cheat reps. This is high intensity. This produces erratic fatigue. They're more validating and generating that need for adaptation. Each rep should be explosive, so it should only take you about 1 second at the contraction and then 2 to 3 seconds on the way back down to the start position. Directly after that, we're going to do some dumbbell rear lateral raises. This is best performed after dumbbell shoulder press, targeting the rear deltoids. At this point, we're beginning to build that 3D appearance. These can be performed with only a slight bend in the elbow, which will aid in activating the trapeze and rhomboids too. If so, it's excellent time to apply the half reps. The slower controlled half reps. This is going to be performed at a lower weight, very deliberately targeting and squeezing the muscle. This is the triple verification that sends the message: excessive stress is present and growth is necessary. Otherwise, if you allow your elbows to bend, leaving your shoulders square and bringing your elbows directly back, you'll isolate the rear deltoid a little more, which we'll target similarly with our next exercise, which is the dumbbell upright row. These primarily target the trapeze and the rear deltoid, with some side deltoid activation. This adds some serious size and full look to the shoulders, especially when countdown reps are applied. The countdown reps performed at a lower weight. I'm holding for 5 seconds, slowly releasing on the negative, holding for 4 seconds, slowly releasing, hold for 3 seconds, slowly release, hold for 2 seconds, slowly release, hold for 1 second, give or take, release. Let's take a moment to appreciate the sponsor of this episode, my wife, Alicia. She enjoys the beach and also loves tiny bear dogs, and me most of the time. She enjoys unicorns, rainbows, and unicorns that throw up rainbows. She loves working for Orkin and Envoy Air, and when I say that she sponsored this video, she's literally been the bread bringer to the homestead. Her aliases are Cuteness, Tiny Press, Tiny Brush, and many more tiny things. It's hard being the tiniest, but she makes it look easy. Anywho, next is dumbbell side lateral raises. This exercise targets the side deltoid and trapeza. Excellent for building massive traps. It's also a great exercise for warming up your rotator cuffs. I do a few sets of these every training session, regardless of what I'm hitting that day. This is a good time to incorporate the slow and controlled pause reps, feeling that strong mind-to-muscle connection. Next up is dumbbell front lateral raises. This primarily targets the front deltoid only when performed with your palm faced inward. When performed with the palm in the downward position, the lower trapeze and the rhomboids is activated. If you're ever dealing with upper back pain right in between the shoulder blades, it's due to muscle imbalance. Typically occurs when the chest is overdeveloped, while this part of the trapeze and the rhomboids are neglected, leading to the pain and discomfort and right around this area here. This exercise will correct that issue, creating balance. Next is dumbbell side or rear shrugs. These really blow up the trapeze muscle, especially when performed at the end of your training session. The trapeze muscle can handle a lot, and in return they're difficult to break down and force growth without a lot of attention. Luckily, dumbbell training provides just that. A classic mistake many make, myself included, increasing the load at every training session, believing more is better. While heavier weight does lead to larger muscle gains, more volume of a light to moderate weight for duration will yield the greatest results while preventing injury. And if you fluff up your rotator cuff, all the gains up until that point will be lost during recovery. I'm sure you may have noticed that my shoulders are well developed, and I'm not using much weight to accomplish this, just a lot of food and volume. And lastly, let's talk about dumbbell lateral variations. Variations when you change one element, angle, or position that deviates from the standard exercise method. I found great success with wrist and ankle manipulation, either set by set or even rep by rep, or performing what I like to call around the world. Starting with the front raise, and ever so slightly by degree, each rep, every rep, until I'm performing a rear delt lateral raise, and reversing the direction once more until I'm back into a front lateral raise position. It provides an incredible pump in 3D sexy. Our goal is to make that mind to muscle connection. We want to feel the muscles we're targeting, actively seeking that feedback. But that feedback is contingent upon muscle size. The smaller the muscle size, the weaker the mind to muscle connection. If you don't feel the muscle that strongly yet, no worries. Just keep practicing. The results will come. The most critical element is consistency, which is frequency plus time under tension. How often we're hitting the muscle and how long we're spending with each set. No matter how hard you train a muscle, with adequate protein consumption, it will recover in 3 days. And these aren't business days. Keep the consistency up, and your shoulders will blow the fluff up. If you haven't seen the episode that inspired this series, and you would like to, check out best bicep exercises with dumbbells. I received my first donation via Cash App, which is in the description of every one of my videos, which also contain a link to a free macro enrichment guide and a copy of the push-pull legs workout program as well for those interested. I really appreciate the contribution. If the person is watching, thank you very much. When I've received enough donations to pay for a container of pre-workout or a protein powder, someone will have the opportunity to win the product as a prize. Free of charge, of course, so stay tuned. Meet me at the gym. Thank you very much for watching. If you liked this episode, found it helpful or informative, please hit the like button. A like goes a long way to help me grow my channel, and I deeply appreciate it. Feel free to drop a comment. I do read all the comments, and I appreciate the feedback. If you want to see more content like this, please hit the subscribe button. I try to post as often as possible. I can also be found on YouTube Podcast and Spotify at Fitness Protocols with Brando. Thanks again for watching. Let's grow a stronger mind, body, and spirit one day at a time. Until next time.